Hello, my name is Jamie Birchall, and you are listening to and or watching our podcast called Wormhole Pinball Presents. And today I am so excited to be joined by Tony and Kim Chbeir of What's Brewing in San Antonio, Texas. Welcome back to the Wormhole, this time virtually, Tony and Kim.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Good to be here.
I'm so glad you guys were able to make it to the Wormhole a couple of weeks ago. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think you inspired us. We want to do some one strikes as well. You guys are awesome, and we want to
Well,
have some.
the one strikes are fun. You know, they're goofy. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Although
it's
I
low
should have won.
stakes. Yeah, exactly.
I should have won that one too. I just constantly choke.
So close. You don't want
And
to
I
take anything away from the people coming, though. Just I know
That's
you did
what
it
it
on
is.
purpose.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
the host.
I do the same thing all the time, man. Selfless.
So before we really get into questions for you both, can you guys give me like an elevator pitch on what's brewing so our listeners and viewers can kind of understand where you guys are coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a coffee roasting company that's been in business in San Antonio since the early 80s. We got into pinball in 2017, and we started with a couple of pinball partners that we're very lucky to have met. And we grew from 5 machines at the beginning, and now we have 50 machines. That didn't happen overnight, but it was over a period of 8 years. We've kind of grown our collection, grown our community, and now you can come in, you can see the coffee getting roasted, you can see the coffee being packaged, you can get a cup of coffee or a pound of coffee or 100 pounds of coffee. You can also play pinball during our kind of bank hours that we keep, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. usually. So yeah, we're not quite a bar, we're not quite a brewery, but we do have coffee. It's kind of fun family arcade style.
Well, that's awesome. We'll delve into it now. So it opened in what, 79? I think is the
Yeah,
website said.
yeah. Actually, there was an older couple in San Antonio that got into gourmet coffee in the mid 70s, and they decided to open up a coffee shop in what used to be Central Park Mall, right at 410 and 281. And they were just ahead of their time. This is pre-Starbucks. This is Maxwell House. This is Folgers time. And San Antonio wasn't really ready for it. And when we were passing through town in '83, me and my family stopped at Central Park Mall, and Dad smelled the gourmet coffee, kind of drew him in, started up a conversation with this couple. They were on their way. They were looking for a buyer, and Dad was looking for some opportunities. And he ended up making them an offer and took it. And from there, it moved to another location where we started roasting coffee in '83. '84, and then we bought our first warehouse in '94, and we moved to our current warehouse in '99, and it's just now we've got a 10,000 square foot warehouse. And
10,000 square feet. Wow.
yeah, mostly coffee. I mean, we've got a big roasting room. We've got a lot of green coffee storage, got a large packaging area, but we also have 3 large rooms of pinballs. And I think we kind of maxed out. We kind of stuffed as much pinball as we can in there, but I think we're happy. It's a nice round number of 50 machines.
There's always room for more, Tony.
Yeah, it's like the dishwasher, right?
Oh, they just end up at our house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. So real quick, www.sacoffeeroasters.com is your website. You can order the coffee directly. I want to mention that because you guys brought the Vienna blend, which I gave to my wife. She's drinking that at home. And then the Viennese blend you brought, I think that's here at the Wormhole.
Yeah. We brought you a couple of pounds, and I mean, we're definitely planning our next trip already. I'll bring you some more.
Yeah, it's a good barter system. You keep bringing that stuff, and we'll keep letting you in whenever you want.
Okay, deal.
So when did you two meet?
We met at the warehouse actually in 2016.
Yeah, it was right before Tony kind of started the pinball adventure. We had a mutual friend that invited me over to a star party at a warehouse in what seemed like a very scary, kind of sketchy, event. She was like, yeah, we're gonna go look at the stars at this guy's warehouse. I'm like, what guy, what warehouse? Like, you're scaring me. Like, why are you making
Right.
taking me to this place? I had no idea because it was an industrial kind of area. So at night, there's like nobody there, you know, at that time, especially because we still, you know, people didn't really come as often into that area unless you had business there, you're, you know, renovating a house or something. And so I came to this star party and I met Tony, and he was so charming, and he had this amazing telescope, and he showed me the stars. So I just kept coming back.
That, oh my God, that's awesome. I have a bunch of astronomy questions for you later.
That's how we met. And then I think some of our first dates were going to Austin and, you know, going to pinballs and some different places, Buffalo, and Buffalo was still open. We did some tournaments together, and, you know, pinball was always there right at the very beginning. And, you know, that was part of what we liked to do together. And just kind of, she's always been there to kind of support that aspect. She puts up with the pinball machines here at the house, waking her up. But yeah, we really enjoyed doing the pinball together. It's fun to split flip. It's fun to play against each other.
That is awesome, and that is why I strong armed you so quickly when you came to the Wormhole to be on the podcast, because I just absolutely love it. Um, when did you first put machines in the warehouse? You said 2016.
It was 2017. I think it was like that summer. We did a renovation, so it was kind of a square layout at the warehouse. We had some like awkward rooms, and that's when we started kind of breaking down walls, opening things up. We wanted it to be more like when a customer walks in the front door, I wanted them to be able to see all the way to the back where the roasting operation was. So there was kind of a lot of demolition in 2017, and then we got the first Chris Doyle, friend of the Wormhole. He brought his personal collection in, and we had those on free play until we got our state tags on them. So it was probably a good 3 or 4 months of free play, and then got our first like fishtail that I think was our first like semi-modern.
I was
we got
what was first? I always want to know what's first then.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was kind of when we started growing it past the original 5, and then it was kind of just buying them here and there. We quickly met Mike McKenna from MJM Amusements. He's an integral part of the What's Brewing pinball team as well. Chris is still a big part of it. We all work together. Chris is like the tournament guy on the co-ed stuff. Mike is our main tech. I'm just the guy that lives there and kind of replaces rubbers and reports things up to Mike that I can't fix. But I think if you take either of those points of the triangle away from it, you don't have like What's Brewing pinball, what we have now. So.
Pinball, you know, John Spates visited you guys a couple of months ago, and he raved about how great the machines play. And, you know, pinball machines break down all the time, and we've all know those arcades where they don't work. And so let's give a shout, you know, thank you for giving a shout out to your techs, because that's what keeps the machines in such great shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we can't do it without the community as well. You know, we've got a great family of pinball people that come in and run tournaments and just kind of like throw parties for each other when there's celebrations or mourning or anything else. We come together, and, you know, it's just, I think anybody listening to this podcast can recognize everybody's got their hometown arcade where they've got their pinball family. And we're really lucky in San Antonio that we've got such a good group of people that quickly kind of coalesce and like formed this group, and we love all of them. It's great.
Yeah, you've got great people and great players in San Antonio, and some of the nicest people have come here, and I have to give a shout out to the Love family, because as their name implies, they're just lovely.
Yeah, I think they're at the warehouse right now. I just saw them before I left.
Did you? They're amazing.
Yep,
and they were my first real fan. That, you know, they came up to me like real early on when we started, and they're like, "We love you," and I just didn't know how to react to that. I had no reaction.
They're super. Yeah, we love them.
Yeah, Collier and his fiancee Cynthia, who we absolutely love, and, you know, I'm trying to name all the people from San Antonio that come to the Worm, but
well, they're having their wedding shower. We have our first Saturday tournament on Saturday, and we're going to dedicate it to them. So putting everything on free play. Shh, don't tell anybody. But we're
Okay.
gonna put everything on free play later in the evening, and it's gonna be and we're all wearing white, and it's gonna be just for them. And we love those guys too.
So that's awesome. And you guys are really the hub for the San Antonio Pinball League. So that's awesome. Congratulations and thank you for really helping grow, pinball.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Okay, so I looked on PinMap and I saw two machines there that struck my eye. And I looked at your website and said, let me look at their current list of pins. Two, right off. Of course, I mean World Cup soccer. I mean, if you listen to any of my podcasts, I have a problem with World Cup soccer. I love it too much, and
Yeah,
it's the only pin that I own. But my new obsession is Congo.
yeah, yeah. That was we got that one. I think in like 2019. Steve Bowden of he's a famous pinball player.
Sure.
Who worked for Deep Root here in San Antonio, along with Barry Elsler, and like he was selling that machine, and I think Chris picked it up, and yeah, we love Congo. That's great.
Oh, we're dying for a Congo. So if anyone's out there listening to Congo, hit us up at wormholepinball@gmail.com.
Maybe we need to do an exchange program where we just like trade machines in between our arcades.
That's above my pay grade at the Wormhole. But John Spates will hook you up with that.
Okay, we'll talk to John afterwards. Yeah,
absolutely. Speaking of John again, we're starting a tech night. We have our tech night here Wednesdays, and I was telling you both when you were here, you saw the list of grievances, our board of grievances. So what we're going to start is starting next Wednesday is a new stream in the Wormhole called Tech Night at the Wormhole. And it's going to be hosted by John Spates and Kira Warren, she's doing a lot of great stuff. So we're going to live stream our techs working on all these particular machines and show the board of grievances and have a long cord and let John walk around and interview some of the techs, although they probably won't want to be on. But I told them they won't want to be on, but we'll deal with that later. So, but look for that. We're real excited about that stream on our Twitch.
That's super awesome. I'll watch that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think it's a different crowd, right? It's a different than watching competitive pinball. It's really people that are going to be interested in how do you fix Cosmic Princess or some of the rarities that we have here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would love to do the same thing at some point, just because we got such a resource with Mike, because he can work on like the EMs, and he can work. He has a confidence. I mean, he basically shoots things into space, so he kind of has to have them space hardened before they go up there, because you can't pull over up there. So he's very good at getting stuff like working all the way. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with that.
Yeah, I think it can be totally duplicated, right? And that's so let's talk about duplication here. When are you starting the What's Brewing streaming channel on Twitch?
Yeah, well,
that's starting.
We got the rig about 18 months ago, because Collier he got to sit in the booth. I think it might have even been with Phil before you guys you got some of Phil's equipment. I think.
Yeah, we bought food. That's how we started. We initially bought Phil Grimaldi's equipment from Pinball.
Yeah, I think it was the last time he was streaming at the Houston Expo, and Collier jumped on the mic, as well as like Trey Kang and a couple of our guys got a couple of minutes at the booth, and I just saw the way that they kind of took off on it. I was like, hey, we got to do something like that at What's Brewing. So I went ahead and I bought the erector set. I forget the name of the company that sells all the parts for that rig.
It's like 80-20 something.
Yeah. So I got that list, and I assembled that, and I got all the cameras, and it was kind of like the Jack Danger list. So it was a static kind of thing. It wasn't a rolling, going from station to station, hardwired kind of thing to a laptop. And then we found out we didn't have the Wi-Fi, and it fizzled out a little bit. Like our latency we're dropping too many packets, so it would be fine for a minute, then it wouldn't be fine. You can't do that when you're live streaming. So we put it on the back burner. And when we learned that we're going to be hosting the 2025 state finals next February or March, and then we have another Bell's Rodeo in February, we're like, wow, we really need to get back on this horse and get the all the mobile rig stuff, and that's one of the main reasons. I mean, of course, I wanted to visit the Wormhole, but I really need to get eyes on what you guys have in your two mobile streaming rigs. So we actually ordered I got a mini ATX case with all my computer stuff coming in the next week or so, and then we're going to be placing the orders for our transmitter receiver packages and a couple other things that you're kind enough to share with me. Like, I'm really appreciative of that. And
of course,
we should have our first streams coming up here by the end of June, hopefully, if everything goes well.
Do we have a Twitch channel name?
Nothing fancy yet. It might just be What's Brewing Arcade or What's Flipping. I'm not exactly sure. I think we're going to be able to have some, and this is all just speculation at this point, but I would like to open it up to some of our pinball family and see if people want to do some, late night stuff where they're just streaming. And if people want to put their name on it, they're more than welcome to.
I think you could. There's so many options for you guys, right?
Yeah.
But you got a really great t-shirt that you're wearing that has a pretty good brand. So I would probably incorporate that in your Twitch channel, but that's just me.
We might as well, we can go all different kinds of directions, but I think the main stuff we're going to be doing for tournaments and stuff will probably be under What's Brewing or What's Flipping, something like
cool.
That. Yeah.
I need to go. So, speaking that you came to the Wormhole to check out our stuff, I need to go to Memphis and check out David Yop's stuff.
I watched the stream. I was watching it last night. It's amazing.
I watched it last night too.
Yep.
I was watching that Amazing Race.
Yep.
And he did an Amazing Race on Sunday, I think it was, maybe, or Monday, whatever. How they can go from machine to machine, it gives me such envy.
Yeah.
I think we're going to incorporate a lot of that when we build the Wormhole East Museum. I really do.
I think that's a great idea. I don't know how. I've been to a flip side. I think I don't want to say it's a chain because I don't want to speak out of turn. But Kim and I have been to one south of Fort Collins in Colorado. I think there's a flip side arcade in a small town just south of there. We stayed right next to it. Loveland. Yeah, I think there might be more than one, but they didn't have that kind of streaming stuff up back then. But I don't know if that's proprietary. I know he's a genius with.
He's a genius. I had him on the podcast, and I had him and his partner on, and they just walked me through how they did it. But I need to go. That's a 2025 initiative for me. I got to get to Memphis and figure that out because real lastly on the streaming garbage, but you have a decision to make. Do you want it to be mobile? Do you want it to be able to leave What's Brewing? Because if you want it to be able to leave What's Brewing, I would probably copy Carpool, right? Because they have a mobile. If it's super mobile. Yeah. It's super mobile, right? You've seen their stuff, and they haven't even
like phones, right? They just kind of
use phones.
Yeah,
they use phones.
It's pretty incredible. And I think aside from the latency from the audio that they sometimes have problems with, I mean, it's just a great stream.
It's a great stream. They're going to always have that because of the Bluetooth problems, and that's
what it is.
That's what it is. But Clark will call me.
Yeah, they're great.
Me it's something else. So, then, or you could do the static with like what we have, and then I copied IE Pinball and all the rest of them. Another great stream to check out is JDL.
I've watched them some.
Oh my gosh.
I would love to have that instant switching is just great. You don't have to worry about interrupting people, and you can just turn it off and on. You can do multiple machines on the stream at the same time.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
It is really cool. Your games at What's Brewing, how are they set? Because you have a lot of tournament players, and then you have a lot of people that come in and drop quarters, right?
Yeah, we're open to the public even during tournaments and stuff. So we do have that is a balancing act. But
yeah, how do you do that? Because Collier and Trey, they can play all day.
Yeah, we set them hard. Long story short, we set them hard. We try to be fair, but about the only thing that I change on a regular tournament is I might go through and set the ball save timers down to 5 seconds instead of the normal 12 seconds, and turn on tournament or the tournament option on the menu. Just make sure so the rules stay the same.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
How long does that take you for 50 machines?
Well, I just do the modern turns. We leave the DMDs on tournament mode pretty much all the time because nobody really notices. And there's not really a ball save option on a lot of the DMDs. So those stay at tournament all the time. And then I think we've got between DMD sterns and LCDs, we probably have 25. I mean, maybe 30 minutes. It's not that.
That's not that bad.
Yeah.
It takes me almost 30 minutes to put up this rig, to set all this up.
Yeah. I was wondering about that. How long that's gonna take to get everything set up. And you don't even really have your computer stays static. You don't have to plug everything back into the USBs.
No, 30 is a big exaggeration. It's 5 to 10, but I go through it like a fine tooth comb, and I've really learned how to be an engineer, which I'm not. I'm in sales. So I had to go when something is broken, I use the engineering method, just go backwards. And they're like IT, they just take you backwards. And that's what you really have to learn.
Yeah.
And cameras, you got to learn all that camera crap.
Yeah, we delved into that a little bit when we bought that static system, and it's a learning curve. I'm not dreading it, but I am a little bit apprehensive about it.
Here's what, again, real quick, start with baby steps, Kim. Don't let them go crazy with 50 machines already. Just go baby steps.
Yeah.
And then build your audience and build your thing, and then you give them a little bit better camera next time and maybe a little bit better mic. And
that's when the big bucks start rolling.
And that's when $7.50.
All those biddies. I can't wait.
Ooh, all those bits. Wait till you get them.
It'll be like plumbers.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's talk to me about Ninja Eclipse. How did that get on site at What's Brewing?
Yeah, so Chris reached out to me through one of our coffee clients. He knew one of our coffee clients, so he reached out to me, got my phone number, gave me a call, and invited him in. And we just happened to be during a tournament day, and one of the first people I introduced him to was Collier. I knew that's somebody that you'd be interested in talking with because Collier is a world-class player that's just kind of getting getting his belt set for, competitive. He's like very well along the way of like learning all the rules of every machine. So that was a good guy to introduce him to. And then, of course, him, Mike McKenna and Chris met, and Mike had a lot of good advice that I think that he really listened to and brought into his latest iteration, the machine that we have at What's Brewing now. And it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun to have a working pinball machine that was made in San Antonio at the arcade. It's been a lot of fun, and they come in and they do little programming tweaks here and there, but I think we talked about it a little bit a couple of Mondays ago when we were at Wormhole, and it's been work. There hasn't been a team of techs like coming in every day to fix problems. It's pretty much been set as is, and it's been working really well.
Awesome.
Everybody seems to be having a lot of fun with it.
Is Collier allowed to play it in tournaments?
Oh yeah, we all don't. I mean, it doesn't matter what game you're playing with Collier. You're not looking forward to playing.
No, that's true.
I think the rule set is pretty strict. There's not really like a back door to blow that machine up.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's pretty straightforward and linear, and achievable for anybody can kind of walk up to it and play it and score some good points. It's a great game.
How's it earning?
Good. I'd say it's earning, similar to what you'd expect with I wouldn't say like a new Stern, because there's always a lot of hype and people want to, play the newest Stern. But it's up there. It's earning
good.
Yeah.
I
don't have the exact numbers, but yeah, I'd say I see a lot of people putting quarters into it. Yeah, it's
good.
earning.
I had Chris on a couple of months ago, and what a just straightforward, great dude.
Yeah, no, I think he's coming from a really good place, and he wants to put a good product out for people and at a good price. I think nobody's getting rich like operating pinball, making pinball. It's always got a passion project aspect to it. but I think he's got really good intentions for, putting good pinball machines out there and reaching an
Well, it's
audience.
awesome that you guys have one on location there in San Antonio. I think
Yeah.
it's just fantastic. Let's
Yeah.
talk astronomy because I'm a dork as well.
Sure.
How did you start bringing telescopes to What's Brewing? How did that happen?
Well, I guess it was about 2010. I got my latest telescope is made by a company named Obsession in Wisconsin, and I have a 22-inch scope. The mirror is about 22 inches across. That's the primary mirror, and it's fully computerized. It has access to tens of thousands of objects. You basically just punch it in, it goes to the object, and then it tracks the object, so you don't have to like nudge it. So that was the first time I really did public outreach at the warehouse. Before that, I've been part of San Antonio astronomy groups, all the way going back. I got my first telescope when I was 10. Dad got me my first little scope. I got the bug back in the early 90s. So, it was a lot of fun growing up with astronomy. Kind of just when I started to drive, I load up my 10-inch and I just kind of head out towards Kerrville, find some back roads and just set up on the side of the road. And it's just kind of grown. It's just like pinball. It grew as I got older and I got a bigger scope and started setting up behind the warehouse just with Facebook friends. It was mostly, small groups. If there was a lunar eclipse, we might have like 40 or 50 people out. But during the winter months when the sun goes down at a reasonable hour, we set up the scopes every Saturday and have it set up in the back so people can kind of just have a look at the moon or Jupiter or Saturn or some deep sky objects. And I train my kids, so now I don't have to always be setting that up on my own and be manning it. I can kind of either be doing the pinball stuff or be doing outside the warehouse stuff. So it's fun to teach them how to do it. And I think you wouldn't think right off the bat, but I think as far as the wow factor with watching somebody look through the eyepiece for the first time, it's kind of a much similar reaction they have to touching a pinball machine for the first time. And it just takes whatever kind of worries you have walking up to the machine or the telescope, you kind of forget about that once you are interacting with either the telescope or a pinball machine. All you really care about is keeping that ball from draining or, just seeing all the details of the moon's craters or whatever you're looking at. We've got a blind dog knocking our tripod around.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah, but I think it goes well with the coffee aspect and the pinball aspect. We have fun with the astronomy at the warehouse, and we get Kim and I still go out to West Texas. I load up the telescope in the back of the trailer. We drive out to the inky black skies out and past the Big Bend, and we go out there and just set up the scope for 3 or 4 nights and just recharge the batteries.
Is it amazing, Kim?
Yeah, it really is. It's been awesome just because, I didn't grow up going to star parties. I had no idea what that even meant.
Right.
And learning about that through Tony and experiencing it in different places. It's just been really beautiful and amazing. And it's things that I've been able to share with friends and family that we would never have even imagined, especially in the middle of San Antonio, which is like a big city in itself. And, just being able to kind of have that moment where, there's still some nature there, in the middle of it. So it's been a lot of fun. And I think it's part of what keeps me interested in Tony, because he's amazing and he's so passionate about, so many things. And I just happen to enjoy them too. So I think that it's really fun.
That is awesome. I'll tell you quick. I'm from Long Island, New York, and there's no stars. We didn't have any stars in New York. And when I moved to Florida, we lived way outside Orlando. And so we had stars. And my mother, this woman from Puerto Rico, Bronx, New York, she had never seen stars, really. And so she became fascinated with it to the point where we had the space shuttle in Orlando. So we could watch night launches from my patio.
Oh,
And
wow.
and my mother would wake me up for them. I just remember being a high school student and my mother's waking me up so I can go watch the launch. My brother never got up, but I got up. And I was dating Janine in college, and my mother would wake us up for night launches. And then, of course, she would call us and say, "Hey, you're going to hear the sonic boom at exactly this time," because the shuttles. I don't know if you remember, but the shuttles used to go to California, and then they would 747 them back. So
Right.
they started landing in Cape Canaveral when I moved there, and so in Orlando, the sonic booms would shake your house. Yeah. It
That's
was
incredible.
it was incredible because it would the first boom is the break of the atmosphere, and the second is the sound barrier. So it's a boom boom,
Wow.
and it just shakes. I don't know if that sound effect was very good. Sorry, but but anytime a planet is visible to this day, my mother will text me. Anytime
Wow.
the ISS goes over my head, and she goes, "Do you have clear sky? Because the ISS is going to go over at this time." Or my mother, it's just
That's so awesome.
she's 77 years old and she is a geek. And if I ever go to and they love San Antonio, so I might send her your way because she would lose her mind if she saw a,
Yes. Yeah. Let me know if she's coming. I'll make sure that we have like clear skies, or we can definitely arrange something special.
but it's anyway, sorry, I wanted to share that with you because
No, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's just one of those things, like that bond that you have with your mom. I think it's through space and astronomy. I think it's something that you can kind of instantly share with somebody. And I brought that, like I've been doing outreach with the telescope. Like I said, going back to the '90s, doing star parties for the public. And I think a lot of the enthusiasm that I learned to share astronomy, I could also use that to kind of get people excited about pinball when they walk up. It's kind of just like breaking the ice. A lot of people walk up to a pinball machine. There's intimidation factor. There's like, they don't know where to put their hands or really the base rules. And if you just have a little conversation with them, it's a lot like telling people, this is where you look into a telescope. This is the eyepiece. This is what you're going to be seeing. And once they get into it, it's kind of like it snowballs and it can really turn into something, bigger than what you expected.
no, it's
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
No, it is really beautiful. All right. My friend and co-host Donovan has a brainchild called the Simple Rapid Fire Question Game that we do.
Oh, cool.
And so I'm going to do it with the two of you, but we don't have to be so rapid. Okay. We can take our time. It's okay.
Oh, thanks.
But it's just like 10 to 15 questions. So we might as well start out with astronomy. What's your favorite constellation?
Probably Orion. It's just big and bright, and it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Yeah, you've got the Great Nebula M42. You've got Horsehead Nebula. You've got Betelgeuse. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in Orion.
I have I'll edit this out, but I got a bunch of tattoos of stars, and Orion was my first constellation. So there you go.
There you go. Okay, cool.
Okay. Do we like the term large coffee or venti coffee?
Large.
I think large. Yeah. Well, get confused about the vente. Like, what does
No,
it mean?
I went on your
Like,
website. I'm making fun of someone else. All right.
yeah.
What's your best earning pinball machine?
Right now it's John Wick. Yeah, the newest earn is usually going to be our biggest earner.
Yeah.
Runners up, like sustainable games, is probably going to be stuff like Godzilla, Jaws, Jurassic Park.
World Cup
We just got a
Soccer.
Mandalorian, but I know that one keeps to earn. Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is an earner, right?
Yeah,
What a great
it is.
machine.
Yeah, it just reaches across a lot of different generations. People like that.
A competitive pinball question. Should we outlaw gloves?
No, I don't think so. I don't see any. How could that be a
I don't know.
problem?
It just makes us look bad, don't you think?
Kind of like a game. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. All right. I have a category I call terrible movie, great pinball machine. So before we ask the pinball question, I'm going to name you three movies. You tell me which one is worse, the worst of these three movies. Okay. Judge Dredd, Johnny Mnemonic, or Last Action Hero. Have you seen all three?
I have, yeah. Probably Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie.
Pretty bad.
All
The
right. So now,
CG is so bad. Yeah.
so now that you have those three, what is the best pinball machine out of those three?
Yeah, it's got to be Johnny Mnemonic or Judge Dredd.
I think it's
Like,
Johnny Mnemonic on both, don't you think?
yeah, yeah, it really is. It's kind of like going back to Congo. Awful movie. It's just really, really bad. Like,
Really bad.
can't watch it, but great pinball.
Supposedly it's a good book, but I don't read. So, are you familiar with Ruta Maya Coffee?
Yeah, those guys are out of Austin.
Okay, John Spates used to set up a table selling Ruta Maya coffee on campus at University of Texas, and
Okay.
he would sell the coffee for a few hours each Saturday in exchange for a keg for his organization. So he wanted me to ask if you guys are familiar with Ruta Maya Coffee because they paid for
Yeah.
kegs.
Yeah, they're great. They sell great Mexican coffee. I mean, they've had great success. They're probably a much bigger company than we are, but yeah.
Well, credit to John Spates at the
Yeah, it's
University of
all John.
Texas.
I'm gonna just put that on John. John was the reason why they're so successful.
Better high speed or the getaway. High speed too.
I think the second one, just because of those magnets on the upper ram.
Quicker new Stern purchase. Pokemon or X-Men 97, two rumored new titles.
Pokemon, no brainer.
That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I think it has to be Pokemon because that's just everybody knows Pokemon is, and I think we've got a little bit of Marvel burnout.
I think it's an ATM for you, Pokemon.
Yeah, no, I mean, as an operator, it's got to be a Pokemon. Like if you're a homeowner, that's really just up to you. But as an operator, I think every 99 operators out of 100 are going to tell you Pokemon.
All right, Kopi luwak, also known as cat poop coffee, is a rare and expensive coffee made from partially digested coffee beans that have been excreted by civet cats. Tony and Kim, have you ever tried this coffee?
Yes, probably no.
No.
Yeah. I used to roast it. Yeah, we used to roast it for a guy out of Austin, Dustin Butler. He had a coffee luwak coffee company. And I mean, if you have a second for a little bit of
we have time.
Okay, so
I want to hear about Kopi.
The thing about coffee luwak, I mean, aside from the bucket list aspect, is it's a great idea, and because the good thing about coffee luwak done right is the animal, the civet cat, is only going to pick the reddest, ripest cherries because they have the most sugar content. When they digest them, it's just like if you're at the grocery store, you're going to pick the best looking apple or the ripest avocado. Same thing with these civet cats. But once the bubble burst, especially after the bucket list came out, and you talked about that coffee, they started doing a lot of cage cats. So they cage these cats, they strip the branches of all the coffee cherries and just kind of throw them at the animals instead of following them around the forest and collecting their natural occurring droppings. They just would collect their droppings out of the cages. Now, that takes everything away from the good aspect where the animal's picking only the ripest cherries. If they're hungry in a cage, they're just going to be eating what they're given. And that includes like unripe cherries. So you lose a lot of that, the goodness that you get if you're into partially digested coffee cherries. A lot of people aren't, but a lot of people are. So, I think it was just a money grab a lot of, after the fact. So yes, civet coffee can be good. I've had some really good civet coffee. I don't know if I'm going to spend $300 a pound for it.
Leave it up to a coffee brewer to make it sound okay to drink cat poop coffee. So
yeah. I mean, you can rationalize it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Last question, not rapid fire. Are you coming to the Houston Arcade Expo in October 11th through the 13th at the Houston West Chase Marriott?
I don't think we can avoid coming any longer. Everybody's gone except for us, and usually I just use the excuse, well, somebody's got to hold down the fort. But I've just heard so many good things about the Houston Expo. You guys really throw like the best pinball party in Texas, and I think we're just going to have to book it. And I probably won't play an attorney just because I know better. I can't play pinball for 8 to 10 hours. I don't
play in and I don't play in the tournament, Tony or Kim.
Yeah.
I don't play in it.
I just want to come hang out. So
no, seriously, come and hang out because we take a booth, the Wormhole booth is huge. It's in the back. It's in a really great spot. We hang out there. We've got our stream. You can come and join me, both of you, on the stream and commentate if you like. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to do it this year. So
Good.
you can hold us to it.
All right. You heard it here first. Ticket information available at HoustonArcadeExpo.com. That was fun, guys. Anything that we didn't cover?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think we got it all. Thanks so much for taking the time and interest in having us on your program.
No, I think you two are wonderful. Please visit sacoffeeroasters.com for ordering and their pinball lineup, their story, and just so much more. I love what you guys are doing. You really are great ambassadors to Texas pinball, San Antonio pinball. You're really the hub there, and we really, really appreciate it. And at Wormhole, we want to showcase them on the podcast. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Jamie. We love being here.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome, Kim. Thanks, Tony.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks again for Tony and Kim for sitting down with me today. I really enjoyed that conversation. I can't believe we've recorded 29 podcasts already, and I still have more to come and record and bring to you. I'm working on a schedule for Alice Young, who happens to be the Texas Women's State Champion and one heck of a person and pinball player. I will have her joined by Aaron Winnick Anthony for that podcast. Look for that in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Jason from Pinball Party Podcast will be joining me next week. I have 2 more that I'm trying to schedule, and let's cross our fingers for a few requests that are unanswered. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do this podcast? Email us at wormholepinball@gmail.com for information about running the Wormhole, and visit spacecitypinball.com for Houston's pinball calendar. We've got a lot of upcoming events. And speaking of events, I was very happy and fortunate to be the rig mover. We talked about it a little bit with Tony and Kim for Space Camp Houston, and that is the brainchild of Bells and Chimes here, Houston, and Elizabeth Dronay. So thank you, Elizabeth, for putting together, and Liz Nebeker for being a helper. Congrats to all the great players, especially Alice Young, Kelly Moncla, Aaron Winnick Anthony, and Rebecca Slalom. Great job. It really was a great tournament, and you can go back and see it on video on demand on YouTube, and Donovan just cut that up. So we'll be back live on Twitch this Saturday for our June 4X. Thanks again for watching and listening to Wormhole Pinball Presents. I'm Jamie Burchell. Thank you so much.